myself again. But it's the only...
Good afternoon and welcome to NUFC Matters. It is Sunday, and it's not just any old Sunday. It is the day when in England and other places we pay our respects to the dead, those who served us well in the World Wars I and II, and at the going down of the sun and in the morning we will remember them. So our heartfelt thanks to those who risked their lives for all of us to live a better one in the UK. And they will never be forgotten. So I'm sure that's a sentiment that everybody on the panel would like to pass on as well. Lads, where do we start with that performance at the weekend? Is anyone feeling any better? Chris, you're not under the sign today, so let's start with you. What's your take after the fallout from that result?
Oh God, where to start? I mean, you just kind of want to turn everything over and say whatever anyone did, do the opposite. I think that it's just there was no consistent attack. Our midfield play was terrible. Our backs were rubbish. So basically, I think it's just they got to just start from the fundamentals and rebuild the squad back. You can't say, "Oh, we were 10th," our best start in 5 years, whatever. You got to take that performance and say, if we have performed like that week in, week out, we'll be relegated. And so, just you're not going to be able to sack the manager. There's not going to be a quick fix, but you have to look at the personnel, look at the formations, and I think just drill in better from the back. I mean, everything starts with our center backs and Jamal Lascelles playing terribly, and I would consider the most drastic measure of putting him on the bench and having a new captain.
For me, I mean, it has been really a case of papering over the cracks, Chris, in the start of the season. But that is our mentality as Newcastle fans. You can get carried away. Well, I say mentality as Newcastle fans, mentality as a football fan. When you get a couple of results, you think, "Oh, this is it." We're on the move, and your league position looks great. You're a couple of points off, being in the top four, and but then we go in against a team like Southampton, who again are we're on a good run. They went top of the league with their 2-0 win. Is it too early to start picking and having a pop at Bruce, because he's brought new players in? New players do generally need time to adapt, A, to the training methods of the manager, but B, to playing in a new team and playing with new teammates. So is there a tendency that maybe we're being a bit harsh and we're judging him because there's a lot of people still don't like Bruce and don't want him as manager?
Well, I just think our wins haven't been as good as we thought, but our losses have shown what we really have, and I feel like some of the new players are great additions. Callum Wilson's an amazing striker, but he can get lost and with no sort of service and no help from the middle. His services are wasted. So I feel like it's one thing to have the right personnel, but it's another thing for the manager to set the right formation, set the right strategy. And we know that Steve Bruce is rubbish on tactics. He doesn't believe in it.
Yeah, you're not going to get many arguments off people about tactics from anyone on this show, I don't think. And we'll watch as the season progresses whether he manages to have a plan A, never mind a plan B. Whilst you're on, Chris, just want to say congratulations to Joe Biden. Joe finally got across the line and managed to kick Donald more or less out the White House, despite his hissy fits and going off to play golf. It does look like we might have a new president, in January you'll be able to toast him properly. But I was impressed. Not a political show, this, of course, but I was impressed with his speech and Kamala Harris's speech last night. But then, when you've been listening to Donald Trump for 4 years, anything would sound good. So, but I'm sure you're pleased, you're relieved, you can get back to worrying about football now, Chris.
Yeah. I'm saying, good riddance, and let Donald go off and buy Sunderland or something. Have a new player.
Don't give them any ideas. You can just build a golf course on their ground. They don't use it for anything else. Spenny, how are you, mate?
Not bad, mate. I've had a bit of an emotional day. I've been Remembrance Day and being ex-army and that, but been to County Garrison and where I was starting my training and all that, and met a couple of lads I used to be in the army with, and I went back up to Durham and I did a bit there, and then back to Spenny and put my Wraith there. So I had a bit of a whirlwind day, but
what was it like? What was it like? Because obviously I watched the stuff at the Cenotaph this morning on Sky and BBC. I flicked between the two, but it was obviously a vastly reduced service in the sense of people, because obviously COVID is playing its part to drive people away from everything this year. But I thought you probably won't have seen it. You'll probably be able to catch up on it. But I thought they did quite well, and there was still the laying of the wreath, still all the dignitaries there, and it was a very respectful service this morning.
Yeah, it was. It's queer because it's usually always freezing when you're standing there waiting for the bell to go at 11 o'clock. And today, for some reason, for less people, it was warmer. I don't know why. You know what I mean? But I was lucky and fortunate to go down. I was invited down there, so because it was being in there down there. So I was one of the lucky ones to go down there and just popped into Durham when no one was there and just paid my respects again there. So it was
very good.
Yeah. So,
very good, mate. Very good. Well, as I say, we've paid our respects on NUFC matters today as well. As for Newcastle United, Spenny, you were really angry on our live broadcast the other night, and I haven't seen you like that for a while, mate. And do you still think that the performance warranted that?
I'm angry. Tell you the truth.
Yep.
I'm that passionate about my club, and I don't like my club getting beaten. I don't like my club playing football like that. Simple as that. Fair enough if we get beat, as long as we have a go. But it's plain to say what was going on. Why can't he just say it? What we're saying. All the lads on the panel to tell him what we were doing. We didn't. It changed. It was going through the middle. All the goals were scoring were going through the middle of the park, through the centre halves. The centre halves didn't have. We're playing left backs. And they were all over the place. He had a left back, but Southampton has never played left back. He was a centre back. We've got no left backs playing. So why didn't we just go for the left and just pound him because he's not used to playing in that position? That's all you had to do. You know what I mean? Them sort of things. It's great to say for everybody, really. It's just, and now he's saying he's going to make a change. He's going to make a change. He's got 2 injuries, hasn't he? Wilson and Billy Fraser are out. Hamstring problems.
Who was the biggest disappointment for you then on Friday, Spenny?
I'm here to say it, but I know he doesn't see, a lot of people don't see him playing, but Hendricks wasn't that good. I didn't think. Hendrick, I mean. And out the game, again, Lascelles, terrible. He doesn't want to know. I don't think, for Bruce. He's totally a different player when he was with Rafa. I don't, because Rafa was bullying him up all the time, ringing him up every night and all that, and talking to him about football, trying to nurture him, and he might be one of them players that like love too much by the manager. Don't know, mate.
Okay, cheers, Spenny. Daz, wasn't a good performance, but Southampton didn't really turn up either. From my perspective, we didn't deserve anything out of the game. I think we all nailed it on Friday night. It was an awful performance and one to forget. But then people start looking ahead to the next games and start saying, well, we're not going to get anything at Chelsea, etc. But it's not the way football works. But sum up your views on the game on Friday.
Yeah, a few things, Steve, I suppose. The first thing being that, we were kind of lured into a false sense of security with the Everton game. We got a result there when he played the 5-3-2, but we all knew Everton were missing so many players. Then he goes with the same formation, which you cannot blame him in one sense, but he's got to see that Southampton are a different outfit, even though they were missing Danny Ings. So he likes to stick with what has worked before, and roll the dice, try and get the look again. In the game itself, he needed to switch it early. He should have seen that it wasn't working, that it was coming right through the middle every time. Maybe if he wanted to still stick with 5 at the back, go 5-4-1. I know it's more defensive, and we had gone down goal early, but it would cut out the coming through the middle a bit, and then we could have, say, Max on the wing and try some kind of counter-attack in football. But no, he did, when he did switch it, the subs he brought in, it was in the same positions, so it didn't make any difference. You mentioned Rafa, like he would have done his homework and known the opposition and the way they play, and have changed it for game on game. Whereas Bruce, if it worked in the first game, as in he got a result in the first game, he'll go with it the next day. So. And then just one other thing like I picked up on as well is, of course, Mark Lawrenson and his comments on that Newcastle and Geordies expect us to be in the Champions League. All we want is a team that'll turn up. The lads did not turn up there on Friday night. They didn't play. None of them. You can forgive one or two having a bad game, but no one had a good game on Friday. But. Yeah, and he has to change it now. I hope he looks at the opposition. It's a roller coaster each week from game to game. But I when you asked the question the other night, was I angry? Yeah, I'm angry, but I've become immune to it now at this stage. I know what to expect. It's up one week, down the next, and it's Bruce ball all the way.
Okay, Pete. Good evening. Good afternoon, mate. Your views on the game on Friday?
It's more of what I expect really from Newcastle. It was a shocking performance. The one thing I do with Newcastle is I look at always the first 5 or 10 minutes, and that usually gives me an indication of what type of performance we're going to get. And I think everyone agree those first 5 or 10 minutes it gave us the indication that they weren't going to turn up, and they didn't, and they were awful. I was frustrated about the result and the fact that we lost in the manner in which we lost, yes, but I'm more frustrated on a sort of a bigger scale. And I think I talked about it on Friday night, in that I'm sick and tired of these Jekyll and Hyde performances, where we should get, a really good positive second half where we score 2 goals. We look the better team, and you think, right, okay, can we kick on now? Can we put a couple of good performances together back to back and really like kind of kick on? And the answer was emphatically no, we can't. And this is the problem. And this is the concern that we have with Steve Bruce. We can talk about him systematically and tactically. He's not got the ability, in my opinion, and never has as a manager, to really take a team on and make them better. And this is where we're lacking, and I think it was a complete contrast in the 2 managers on Friday. Hasenhüttl has a way of playing. He sets up his team to play a certain style of football. Now, if you look at those players on the Southampton team that played on Friday night, the quality isn't much different, and in fact, you could probably argue that the quality in our team was better. So you think to yourself, okay, well, why are they performing as a cohesive unit, as a team? Why have they got a style of play? And it's down to the management, and that's what we're lacking. And to add to that, that's the frustration. I mean, you look at the Premier League season this season, and you look at the fact that Man United are below us. You look at Man City having had a great start. You look at a number of teams having had a great start. It is wide open this year with the pandemic and with the fact that the home advantage doesn't help with a lot of teams, and it's there for teams to take advantage of and to grasp. And you look at Southampton on Friday; they put a great performance in, fully deserved the 3 points, and they're sitting top of the league. And it just begs the question: why is it always everybody else? Why is it always a Southampton or a Leicester or a Wolves or a Sheffield United last season, for example? And Leeds had a good start, although they've slipped off recently. And you're thinking, why can't that be us? And you've got to look to the manager there, because there's no excuses now. He's got the players. He's had money spent on that team. Yes, okay, maybe not as much as we would have liked. people would have said, we would have liked another striker, and yeah, great. But actually, those set of players right there, that squad is the best squad that we've had for a number of years. There are no excuses. There are no excuses for those Jekyll and Hyde performances. And for me, that sits with the manager. Individually, players didn't turn up. We talk about Lascelles and Hendrick, and yes, they were poor. ASM wasn't very good. I've not been pleased with him and his performances for the last 2 or 3 games now. And his attitude doesn't seem right. And that's the biggest worry for me, is that, yes, he's had bad games previously, but actually, as an individual, he's always had the right attitude. He's always given his best, his 100%. For me, the last 3 games, he's not given enough. And he's too busy rolling around on the floor and not getting the ball down and trying to make us play and try and make us a better team. That's a worry for me. A worry for me is exactly what happened on Friday, is that we put too much emphasis on Callum Wilson chasing and pressing high up the pitch without support. If he continues to do that over the course of the season, of course, he's going to pick up injuries, and exactly what's happened right now. So there are, we can look at the result on Friday and say, yes, we were awful, we were poor, and we were. But there are fundamental issues within this squad, within this team currently, and it lies with the manager. And the sad thing about it is that Mike Ashley's not smart enough a football man to see that. And regardless of us picking up results moving forward, we might get the odd result here and there. We might stay in the league, but actually, he talked about us progressing and moving forward. And the way we're playing right now under his management and his leadership, we are not going to move forward. If anything, we're going to move backwards.
Great points, well made as always, Pete. Thanks for that. Yes, Daz, is that one of your close friends over your right shoulder? I've noticed you've changed your background. There's Amanda.
Yeah, this is my piece of encouragement for everyone, not only Richard Masters, to pick up the phone and to give Amanda a call and give us the good news, and that would brighten the mood for everybody, I think. So that's my little bit of encouragement for Richard.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Big shout out to newworkwear.com, specialists in the supply and branding of clothing for the workplace. I'm not sure who can get under there. Spenny, you might be able to get underneath one of them. Can you get under one? Yeah, you might get under that small one. Don't give yourself a hernia. Chris, I didn't say go off the show. No, he's got it. See, Chris, I could have got that on your head if you'd been in the usual corner. But a big shout out to them for sponsoring. Yeah, I got you, Spenny, more or less. We got the top of your napper. And a big thanks as well to qtechshop.co.uk, the makers of pool tables and snooker tables in Wallsend in Newcastle, and also the maker of our t-shirts, newcastlelegends.com t-shirts, and UFC Matters t-shirts are available from newcastlelegends.com. So as always, plenty to talk about. And Alwaleed, what are your views of the game on Friday night?
I see. I'm with the fans. They are so pissed because I was very pissed. I think most time I was pissed of this performance. I'm wondering if the management of Newcastle sit with Steve Bruce and talk to him. I really would know. I really would like to know. Does they have a meeting after this game and talk about why he didn't do anything in the game? And I wish if I have chat with Steve Bruce and tell him or ask him, maybe advise him. This is what we see yesterday, Friday. Sorry, it wasn't coaching; it was teaching. Coaching is not like if you write a story and you want to start again, you have to squeeze and start over. But in coaching, you have to change and if things go wrong, you have to change the performance in seconds. Or why you are calling yourself a coach? What we see were nothing. Just take Hendrick out and put Matty Longstaff in. For me, I'm not blaming Hendrick. I'm not blaming Saint Maximin. I'm blaming Steve Bruce. I saw a statistic just before the show, and for the manager who ran more than 300 games in the Premier League, Steve Bruce was the worst one in losing rate. I said Hendrik, it wasn't his mistake because he was playing with Al Mayroon and Sean Staff, and they weren't a good defender midfielder. I'm actually surprised why. And I see also, I'm see journalists, big names, they are blaming Saint Maximin, which is, I'm not with them for blaming him. Saint Maximin, I think, he can't save our team every time by dribbling and facing 10 players, throw them and score a goal. I see also the teams we are playing against, they know that Saint Maximin have individual solution. So the priority to them, they know how, coaching, they know how to stop him and make it difficult for him to stop. And I think Steve Bruce doesn't make it very hard to them because he isolate. I see Wilson isolated. I see Saint Maximin isolated, and the rest of the team in the back, even Al Mayroon himself. Al Mayroon in Paraguay, he played striker or second striker, not defense midfielder. I know the idea. He was trying to make some maybe, as I said before, he always make the player play as default. So Al Mayroon have default to play of getting the ball and go forward, but we see the mistake. Maybe I'm not blaming him. I'm blaming him actually, but not maybe 100%, because this is his style of play. But he did it in the box near to our goal. Last thing I saw the interview. It was I'm very angry from the interview after the game with Steve Bruce. He said, "I believe the good team wins." For me, actually, I believe the team with a good coach wins.
Okay, Al-Walid, thanks very much, mate. Nathan, your take on Friday night's game. What's your views?
Yeah, it's a very disappointing performance to match the result as well. For me, I think we've gone through the season in a very kind of up and down way. Like we won 3, lost 3, and drawn 2. I think after the first game of the season, obviously we were quite on a high after the West Ham game. We all thought, we've got the makings of quite a decent team here, and we could go far this season. And we followed that up with 2 really poor performances. I think even both draws have been very lucky. We've snatched a goal at the end of the game. We haven't. It wasn't a game. Both of those draws, they weren't games where we were in it to win it, kind of thing. We came out like smash and grab at the end of it. So I think our 3 wins were all 3 good performances, but they've not been followed up with anything concrete thereafter. And that's the disappointing thing, really, is that I think Bruce has seen a winning team, and then he sticks with it and doesn't change anything. Doesn't seem to adapt to what's put in front of, or what's going to be put in front of each team as in the next fixture. So for me, we had like the lads have said, we had opportunities to get down their left hand side and really cause them problems, and we didn't do that at all. Our best player, Saint Maximum, he's not utilising him at all in these last 3 games for me. Playing him in that free role, it just doesn't suit him, and it doesn't play to his strengths. I think I laboured that point on Friday. I think, yeah, like I said, we've been carried away with, the last couple of times when we've been ahead, and when we've won a game and we thought, we're going to go into the next one. But honestly, before Friday, I didn't feel like we were going to get a result at all, because you just know that when we get a win, it's going to be followed with a couple of poor performances. I think, as Daz said, it's not surprising to see the likes of Mark Lawrenson come out and say those things. I think if anyone's sort of well placed to comment on the way that the season's going and Bruce's performance, it's us, people like us, the fans. We see this week in, week out, we see these poor performances, we see this lack of structure, these lack of tactics, the players playing the wrong positions, players not playing well and still walking in the team when there's better options on the bench sometimes. And it's just really difficult to kind of sit by and watch that happen to your team. It's so frustrating. I think to my mind, the only person in the media who has got his finger on the pulse in terms of anything to do with Newcastle is Jake Humphrey from BT Sport, because for me he's been one, through the takeover and also through the kind of Rafa Bruce debate that was ongoing for a long time. He's the only one really who will call out these people and put them right and actually say, look, the Newcastle fans don't ask for the world. They don't ask for to be winning the Champions League. Like the lads have said, we want a team that tries, and we want a team that we're proud to watch, and we can say that's our team, and we're trying to do something. Look at Leeds. Leeds got a hiding this weekend, but some of their football they're playing, I know I'm not saying that's I want us to go out and get hammered every week and that kind of thing, but the way that they play, it's inspiring to watch sometimes. Like their forward play. You look at ours, we don't have anything like that at all. We can't string more than 2 passes together in the opponent's half without losing the ball. Our midfield's overrun every single game. You look at the likes of Hendrick, and I know I don't want to turn into a show where we jump on players as soon as they have a couple of bad games. But for me, Hendrick hasn't done anything since that first game for me. I thought he was quiet against Everton, but there was some stats to back up that he did a lot of running, did a lot of the sort of dirty work, which is fair enough. But for me, I think he's been very average. People talked about him being out of position, being played slightly further on the right. He tends to drift inside anyway. You'll find him in the inside anyway. It doesn't offer a lot for me. The kind of most concerning thing about that is when after the Project Restart, when we came back to playing football at the end of last season, you could argue that Isaac Hayden was our best player by a good way. St. Maxim had a few good games and he dropped off, but the consistent performer in that after Project Restart was Isaac Hayden, and we were all over the moon when he signed the new contract. Now, we started off this season, and he's been one of the few players at the start of the season who actually has put in a few good performances. He's one of the few players who, when playing against lower league opposition, he actually stood out like a Premier League player. I think it was the Newport game. He just dominated the midfield in that game, or it might have been the game before actually. But he was one of the few players that actually, put in a shift like a Premiership footballer against lower league opposition. And now he's finding himself, for no reason whatsoever, completely in the cold and at the expense of Hendrick. And Hendrick was really poor at the weekend. Longstaff had to start because he had a decent game against Everton, so it was fair enough that he started, but he was on the pitch way too long for me, and that dilly-dallying around to lose that second goal, that's unforgivable at this level. It's something you can't get away with. And I think the games that we've lost this season, I know we got a bit of a pasting at Man United, but we've been Carl Darlow's performance away from a few 5, 6, 7-0 this season. He's kept us in games pretty much, to be honest, and I think they could have had 4, 5, 6 on Friday quite easily. He made a few really good saves, and just the way they walked through our midfield was really disappointing to see. And it's not something you expect from any team. And whoever you support, you'd be disappointed with that kind of midfield overrunning.
Yeah, Spenny sent us something, Nathan, which backs that up earlier on WhatsApp, and it was something that flashed up on Sky during the match. And this season so far, Newcastle have faced 129 shots.
Staggering, isn't it? It's unbelievable.
Of those shots on target, 50 of them. Saves, 37. Save percentage, 76. And we're top of the league in the Premier League ranking on all of those things.
I mean, I dare say that it would have been similar last season as well, because if you look at the goalkeeping records last season, Dubravka was near the top. If not top for long portions of last season. But the thing is with last season as well, if you looked at our attacking stats, they did something similar at the end of last season, showing I think it was like our touches in the opposition box, shots, chances converted, that kind of thing. And we were like 19th or 20th, so the lowest or joint lowest for all of those like attacking stats. Now, if you look at it this season, our attacking stats have been a bit better in that we've got a recognised striker now, and we've got people playing in and around him, and in some of the games that's worked. But on the flip side of that, our defensive record is still absolutely shocking. This notion that Bruce is changing things and that Bruce is moving things forward, it's just completely untrue. Because if you look at what happened last season when we were sort of floundering, and then we got that hiding at Leicester last season, and then Bruce went back to said, "Oh, the team can't play any other way." So we went back to how Rafa used to set things up a bit more similar to the Rafa formations. Now, if you look at this season, we started off very poorly in terms of performances, and Bruce has reverted back to that Rafa kind of style of having 5 at the back, 3 at the back with wing backs. So he's not developed anything at all. If anything, he's just reverted back to how we used to play kind of before in a different way, and people are somehow sort of misconstruing that as Bruce's identity and Bruce's imprint on the team, but it's just completely not true.
Yep, good points. Good evening, good afternoon, Martin. How are you, mate?
I'm all right, lads. Pretty good.
Good to see you. Give us your take on the aftermath of Friday.
Yeah, look, it wasn't a great match at all. I said a couple of weeks ago, I wonder, has Bruce lost the dressing room? And I stand by that. There's something there. There's something not right with those players. Just to follow on from Nathan's bit, and I'm not sure because Andre's not here. I'm looking at a couple of stats this morning, so I'm not sure if I have to get Andre's approval, or maybe I might need to. Is it like a whole Toon Polls thing? I have to get permission before I go into it. So I looked at Bruce overall, and then I looked at the last kind of the game. So as a manager, he's had over 800 games, of which he's won 380 something. 824. He's 315 games won, 312 lost, and 197 draws. So if you look at the current games that he's had over the 54, 55 that he's had for Newcastle, it's no different. So he's never going to change as a manager. That's him. That's his way, and that is what you get with Bruce. It's been there in every club he's been to: Villa, Sunderland, Sheffield. Exactly the same. Doesn't change. He's used 8 different formations in 56 games for us this season, between the 2 seasons. 8 formations. This season, he said, it's a work in progress. Hold on. You've used 8 formations. You've got a 29% win rate, and you've not improved on that in 800 games as a manager over 20 years. It tells you all you need to know. With regards to some of the other stats, we've played as a team. Newcastle so far this season have played more long balls than any other team, 335 to be precise. We've the lowest shots per game at shots on us 18.2 a game. We've the lowest shots on target at an average of 2.4. We're the worst in the league. The only other team that has less possession as us currently is Palace and Sheffield United. And tackles per game, we're again the lowest of the league with an average of 12 tackles a game. So to take Nathan's point about the midfield being overrun, what I watched on Friday night against Southampton was every time Southampton played a ball from defence to the middle of the park to the front 2, Newcastle players stood back, approached them, stepped off, let them take the pass, let them play a second pass. So if we're going to continue to do that, we're going to continue to lose. Bruce's pattern every season is, as Pete said, as Chris said, Spenny said it, is a win, then we get a loss, then he tries to improve, we might get a draw, possibly another win, and it's just this constant cycle. So, it isn't going to change. I really wonder, has he lost the dressing room? Is there a split amongst the players? And I think, with regard to Hendrick, with regard to Almiron, to ASM, I've had digs at the players. I've had a pop at Shelby. I've had a pop at other players, Joe Linton. But I'm not going to do that no more, because I don't think it's the players. I think the players are responsible when they go out over the pitch. But Almiron, I think Spenny, we were chatting there online there the other day. Almiron, where's his smile gone?
Yeah.
Where's his attacking form gone? Hendrick, I know from watching Island games. Okay, Hendrick's not a world beater. Me, Daz, we watch him quite regular when Ireland are playing. He's not a world beater, but he is a grafter. But he's gone off the boil. If you take Pete's point about Southampton's manager on Friday night, Danny Ings and Theo Walcott. Danny Ings, injury prone, having a real bad time, went to Southampton, same as Walcott. Look at the two of them now. Completely re-engaged, propped back up. Walcott, I thought, was really, really good for Southampton on Saturday or Friday. Danny Ings is banging in the goals. Why is that? It's because Southampton have got a manager who has put their arm around them, has brought the confidence up, is playing them in the right positions, and is doing the right thing with the team, forward-thinking, progressive. We're not going to get any of that with this current manager, and the stats are there to show it all. With regards to Nathan's point, very, very quickly, just on Darlow, he's currently under saves. He is in the top 2 of the entire 5 European leagues for saves made. So what does that tell you? So that's my little piece for Andre. Andre, God bless you, sir.
Stato,
Man, thanks for tuning us up, mate.
Say that, mate.
Thanks for tuning us up.
Well, you know, I think it was interesting. Like sometimes, you know, I'll come on here and I'll, you know, we kind of talk about the team and we have our opinions. And I think, you know, people watching us, sometimes they'll go, oh, you're giving out to Bruce. And, you know, you get the likes of Robbie Savage and Lawrenson and all these others, you know, for my one, the likes of Lawrenson, Robbie Savage, do you know what? There has been ex-pros do nothing who, you know, live on what little reputation they've got and the old pals gang with Steve Bruce. Very simple. So I don't take heed of them, but they're the stats. It's these kind of things that show you what the facts are. So to take Spenny's point for me finally, and I'll shut up. I just want 11 players to go out, have pride in that black and white jersey, get stuck in. If we give 100% next in 2 weeks' time, we get Chelsea and get beat, but we've given it 110%. We've got tackles in. We've blocked shots on the line. I'll be a happy guy. But if we go out and we do what we did against Southampton, lads, it'll be a cricket score.
Yeah, I agree. Great stats, Martin. The lads are rightly praising you, mate. Well done. And big shout out to Andre, who normally fills in with those kind of things. But well done, mate. You did an outstanding job.
Andre needs to hurry up and come back. Otherwise, that's me entire Sunday morning taken up doing that.
Tom Dixon, no, there isn't, mate. I'm sure we'll hear something in the next day or two about that. It didn't seem too promising, though, although we are in international break again. And from our perspective, that gives us maybe an outside chance of him coming back a little bit quicker, which is good. Paul Gibson, I wouldn't advise that, mate. Punching your TV is not recommended. But there's other things can be bought to do that. Get yourself a punch bag in the back garden or something. But yeah, I mean, Lawrenson, Chris, I'm not sure whether you heard it, but I watched it live. He was sitting on Football Focus with Mr. Dan Walker and more or less commenting, you know, just off the cuff about Newcastle United. And, you know, Daz has mentioned it, Nathan Martin's mentioned it as well. Briefly, he's essentially just said, oh, well, Newcastle fans aren't happy unless they're in the unless they win the Champions League. And he says, and you've got to be in it to do that.
He likes to talk about Newcastle. Not much substance, though. It's just kind of the same thing we've always heard, that Newcastle fans are too demanding, and that we want Champions League. You know, all we've ever said, you know, broken record here, is that we want a club that tries, a manager that tries, an owner that tries, and I feel like we've got you know, one of the three at this point. Well, so 1 out of 3 is not good enough. We need to take over. We need a new manager. It's not going to happen overnight. So it's like, what can we do in the interim? And it just goes back to what I said before. You know, you can have a good transfer season and bring in quality players for 35 million, but it's how you know set them up. Set them up for success. And, you know, there's that old adage about failing to prepare is preparing to fail. And I feel like that's Bruce right there.
Yeah, Tom Dixon says we'll probably get bit off Brentford. They would have been watching us on Friday thinking, how have Newcastle got that far in the competition? Barry asking if there's been any updates on Wilson or Fraser. No, there hasn't, made, although Fraser seems to be slightly worse than Wilson's. Tottenham at top of the league. I'm seeing Tottenham fans complaining on Twitter. What's your thoughts? Tottenham fans are never happy, are they? Harry Kane obviously getting the winner in the last few minutes. And in the other game today, Leicester's 1-0 up against Wolves. They have missed a penalty and scored a penalty. Spenny, your take on Loro's comments?
Right. He's only got a vendetta because he got sacked in Newcastle, didn't he? When Keegan was there, he brought him in as defensive coach because we were late in goals to help the team out. He made the team bloody worse. That's how clueless he was. So he got sacked. So since then, he's had a little go at us all the time. He made his name in that Liverpool team with Alan Hansen and Nickel and all them fantastic defenders they had at Liverpool at the time. That's how he made his name. Simple as that.
Okay,
he's just another one, isn't he? Just another one to the story.
Yeah, you're right, Spenny. You're right, Daz. You touched on it anyway, but yeah, I mean, these pundits do get paid. You know, as Martin has said, they get paid for insight and analysis, but all they provide is subjective opinions. I think that probably sums it all up, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think maybe BBC should follow Sky's advice and do a bit of a clear out there. Be no harm. Keep Shearer, of course, but yeah, no, I recorded Football Focus like I do every week, but I deleted it because I saw the clip and I didn't want to watch it anymore. But yeah, it's. Well, as I said earlier, we just want a team that'll turn up and give it a go. If we get beat, we get beat. But at least you're showing that you're actually you want to play. And yeah, as Martin was pointed out the last couple of weeks as well, something's going on in the dressing room. It like there's an awful lot of people that don't have a smile. Not only Almiron now. If you saw the Shar interview afterwards as well, God, he looked like I don't know what, but. Yeah, he needs to meet Sal quick, I think. But
what did he say? What did he say, Daz? Because Martin touched on that, but obviously Martin was rattling the stats up. So we'll let you tell us what Shaw said.
I can't remember what he said today, but he was just looked so depressed. My God, he really needed someone to phone him. He was that down.
He does.
Said we were shit, didn't he?
He did say at the end of it that the commentator said to him, what do you think went wrong? And he basically just said, we there was 11 of us out there, we were all shit, and that was it. Walked away. So fair play for a bit of brutal honesty, but
yeah, it was desperate. Yeah.
Okay, mate. Pete, your take on Mark Lawrenson and all of these pundits who sit and preach that Steve Bruce should be we should be grateful that we've got Steve Bruce, etc. I mean, somebody mentioned Alan Shearer there. I think it was Daz saying we'll leave Alan Shearer there. But to be fair, Alan Shearer on Match of the Day hasn't really criticised Steve Bruce either.
No, and he won't because he's Steve Bruce's his mate, so he'll only go so far with him. But going back to the Lawrenson comments, it doesn't surprise me. It's why I don't watch those programs, because it's a typical comment of a dinosaur pundit. He's doing really is to try and get our backs up and to try and gain interest in him, because at the moment nobody cares about him now. He was okay in the 90s, early 2000s, but actually his dinosaur mindsets on punditry are far gone now. He's one of a number of pundits that are out there at the moment, with the likes of Danny Mills and Danny Murphy, and there's a few others out there that actually have no idea what's going on at Newcastle, have no idea what's going on at the club. And their go-to response is always, they expect a challenge. They expect to be in the top four. They expect to be in the Champions League, because they actually don't take the time to research and to look into the club and to know and speak to the fans and know what we're thinking. And actually, 9 times out of 10, a lot of these guys don't even watch us play. They just go off 5-minute clips of highlights and just literally spend their whole time talking about Newcastle based on those 5 minutes. They don't look into it in any sort of detail whatsoever. That's why I admire the likes of what Nathan was spot on with Jake Humphries. He's not a pundit, but he's in the media. Henry Winter talks really well about Newcastle because he actually researches about the club. He speaks to the fans. He actually goes and watches the games, so he knows his stuff. and he talks positively, get my words out, about Newcastle. So, you know, I don't listen to these guys. To be honest, I don't watch any of the punditry now on Sky, BT Sport a little bit, because there are a couple of better guys in there. But BBC, I don't watch Match of the Day. I don't watch any of them because they all talk the same rubbish all the time without doing any real research into the club whatsoever.
Instead, don't we?
Sorry?
We're better than them.
Well, we do, and that's why people come in and listen to what we talk about, because actually we know about it's our club. It's our club that we support. We follow them week in, week out. We watch every single game. You know, we listen to the interviews from the players and the managers and all the rest of it, and we know things that are going on in and around the club. These guys don't. So, you know, we're more in tune with what's going on in our club than they are. That's why I don't listen to it, because 9 times out of 10 they're talking a load of rubbish. And unless they do their research, I'm not prepared to listen to them. But going back to what Daz said and a couple of others said about the dressing room, if there isn't unrest in the dressing room, my question is, why not? Because if I'm a player in that squad right now, I'm not happy. If I'm Callum Wilson and I'm coming to this club for £20 million to score goals to get into the England squad and show my worth, why am I not kicking up a fuss right now? Why am I not saying this is not good enough for me? I'm better than this. You need to be providing me with the opportunities to score goals on a regular basis. If I'm Almira and I'm saying, why are you not playing me in my best position? If I'm Alan St-Maxim, I'm saying, why are you not playing me on the wing where I can play my best football? If the squad of players are not asking these questions to the manager and putting it out there, then my question is, why not? Because they should not be happy. You know, Fabian Shaw's come out and talked about, you know, the performances are not good enough and basically that we're all shit. Yeah, you were all shit. But I'm sick and tired of players coming out, and we'll hear it now over the next 2 weeks in the Chronicle, in the Gazette, in all the national newspapers for the next 2 weeks about how we weren't good enough and how we're going to be better and how we're going to do this, that, and the other. A, B, C. It's too late. The game's gone. We've already put in a shit performance and we've already lost the game. And the attitude, and that's the biggest thing, the attitude wasn't there. The attitude was not good enough. And that started from the captain, and that were filtered all the way down to the likes of Callum Wilson and 1 or 2 others. There's no point talking about it in interviews about how disappointed you are and how shit we played. Put it right. Do it in the first place, so we're not in a position where we're getting our asses handed to us in a 2-0 defeat that could have been 5 or 6. I'm sick of hearing it. You know, we've been Newcastle fans now for many, many years. We've seen mostly bad, but we've also seen the good. But we've also seen players time and time again talk the talk after the game's been done, after we've already lost. Put the performances on the pitch. Leave everything on the pitch. They knew they had a 2-week break for internationals. Leave it all on the pitch. Put something on. Even if we don't win, we're not expected to win every game. But as long as they put everything out there and they've given every ounce of energy for this club, for the shirt, for the team, you can't argue with that. But they didn't do that on Friday. And I'm sick and tired of hearing their excuses afterwards. It is not good enough.
Okay, thanks, Pete. Strong words. Well supported in the chat, though. Al Walid, do you think Steve Bruce has lost the dressing room?
I think he lost everything, not just the dressing room. Just, and I think there is related matters to this thing. I can't say, I would have to say maybe that the takeover situation force Ashley that you just want to be safe until the club until the takeover would happen. I think maybe Ashley come and see this, maybe the standing table. Okay, Newcastle is 11, 12. Okay, he's fine with that. He cares just not to be relegated. Doesn't want to jeopardize going into regulation or close to the last in the schedule, in the standing table. I think this is the main concern. What is the alternative? If maybe he have, okay, I will take Steve Bruce out. What's the alternative? No coach now will under this situation, I think, or no good coach maybe available. He will be taking Newcastle under this circumstances. Maybe the takeover situation, as I said, I think affects and somehow a big effect on the situation of changing the manager. I can understand. I can't agree more with all what you say, guys. It just we are angry that we didn't see. We are losing 1-0, and still we have hope to at least do something in the field. For me, Steve Bruce was like teaching in kindergarten, teaching kids playing football, just to take this in, put this out. The player I didn't see he need he just drinking the water, folded his hand. He seemed like doesn't have more to do. Just okay, put Carroll on last 10 minutes. It's like we are expecting his move. Put Wilton in last 5. I think we expecting all his move. Imagine, and that's us, and we are just fans. Imagine other coach what he's facing. They are not like scared from Bruce. He's not there. We need there. Last thing I would say, he just a point collector. We say it before that when Newcastle, I think you say it also. The thing with Newcastle, when we expect, when we feel that sure we are doing something, this game we lose. This is really frustrating because we, as Beat said, we can do better. We have better quality. We can do better than what we watch.
Okay, Alwaleed, thanks. Last 10 minutes of the show. If you're watching, just give it a quick thumbs up. Please like the video. And if you're a first-time visitor to the show, please click subscribe. Welcome along. We've got 7 shows a week and sometimes a few specials as well. Nathan, just your views really on the punditry and what Martin was saying about potentially Brucey losing the dressing room.
Yeah, I think to round off the thing about the pundits, the thing is now football's changed and it's not as subjective anymore. Football used to be it used to be people would see match of the day, they'd see a few games on match of the day and a few little snapshots of those games, a few clips here and there, like in the 90s and that kind of thing. But now it's more sort of all encompassing than that. There's a stat for everything. You can, as Martin pulled out earlier on, you can see exactly everything that's going on in every single game, and the stats don't lie. They tell a truer tale than what the pundits do. So these people like Mark Lawrenson and that kind of thing, these sort of old has-been footballers who never made it in management, never done anything after football. It's not enough for them to be saying to be dishing out these kind of throwaway comments about Newcastle, and I'm sure they do it about other teams, but we don't pick up on it as much because it doesn't sort of personally get to us. Dan Walker, the presenter, he said that he spoke to Mark Lawrenson after they got an influx of comments from Newcastle fans about Mark Lawrenson's comments, and he said that he spoke to Mark Lawrenson about it, and he said that he gets it. Mark Lawrenson gets it. He understands why we're upset, but then he went on to defend him and said that he knows more about football than most people, and that something like he watches hours upon hours of football and he knows the game inside out. I'm sorry, but if he's watched hours and hours of Newcastle United this season, then he wouldn't be saying the things that he was saying, and he'd fully understand our plight and our cause and our concerns that we've raised. Another thing that really got on my nerves was because they were talking about us being offended and us being upset by it. And then Gabby Logan came out and she said, "Oh, Newcastle fan here, not offended." And I just thought, "Oh, piss off, will you? Give me a break. It's not all about you and your stupid has-been mates that are on the telly, clinging onto your fame because you're getting sort of made redundant by newer, fresher people that are coming in and trying to cling on to your fame." It's so annoying. It's not about being offended. It's about these tired old cliches being rolled out every time that we dare to open our mouths and criticize a manager because we're not liking what we're seeing on the pitch. And these cliches get rolled out week in, week out by these out of touch, like has-been people. And I think the worst part of it is that we don't have a platform. Although we take to Twitter and we make our voices heard, we don't have a voice in any of these conversations, because the people that they get onto these shows are all like I said, they're all of this old school, Bruce is doing a good job, old boys club kind of thing. And we never have any like opportunity for a retort or a comeback or anything like that. So I think that's the most like frustrating part about it. Just to pick up on what Pete was saying about that kind of the way that the players are not taking that ownership of the performances on the pitch and they're sort of leaving it till afterwards. What kind of worries me is that when we went down and we had that kind of, we've all heard about that sort of players union that we had when we had like Nolan and Barton and Steve Harper and those kind of characters in our dressing room, and they kind of after that friendly against Hartlepool when we got hammered, that was kind of like a bit of a wake-up call, wasn't it, for the team? And that was kind of a catalyst for us pressing on then and then winning, getting back into the Premiership. And I think what really concerns me now is that we don't seem to have we don't seem to have any like ambassadors in that changing room that will kind of affect any change like that, and that will, drag the team by the socks and get them playing and call things out when it's not right and put people in the place on one thing or another. And that really worries me, that we seem to have a real lack of character in our dressing room, and that when you're down the bottom and when things aren't going so well, it's those kind of players and that kind of attitude that can make the difference between staying up and going down. So for me, that's a big concern, is that we don't seem to have that anyone willing to step up. Obviously, it was I agreed with what Fabian Schär said, but for me, he needs to do his talking on the pitch, and he needed to be pulling people into position and calling it out as it was happening and at half time. Obviously, we're not privy to what goes on at half time, but I'd be surprised if there was much crosswords said.
I think they have a buffet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, looking at picking from a menu, aren't they, probably for after the game, but getting their orders in. But yeah, I think there's that lack of character and leadership, and that could be our downfall this season.
Great stuff, lads. Honestly, yeah. Martin, final word to you today before we play our phone a friend video to play out with. International break, mate. Has it come at a good time or a bad time?
It's probably come at a good time. I think the couple of games that we've had that we've kind of done okay, and I think the Premier League table has flattered us. We were talking Friday before the game, get a win, we go fourth. Table's all over the place. So is the Premiership this season. So if you look at where we've been the last few games, it's relegation form. That's what we have at the moment. That's the simple fact. I think the only blessing of the international break is, let's see what happens with Wilson. If it is a semi-serious injury, we've got to be concerned, because six goals in 7 games or whatever it is for Wilson so far. A couple of penalties, but if he's not in that squad then and is injured for the next month, where do we, for a goal shy team, where do we then get any goals to keep us in a match or a win? Because it's certainly not with the other lads up front. So that for me is a concern. Does it give Bruce 2 weeks to tinker around yet again? Will we see formation number 9? I don't know. It's another wait and see. I take Nathan's point. Again, I got a fair bit of flack a few weeks back off the show and on Twitter, and I said Lascelles was not my captain. I take Nathan's point 100%. There isn't the characters in that dressing room anymore. There isn't a Shearer or a Shearer and a Gillespie that had a punch up in Dublin. There isn't those lads that are going, what the hell is going on here? Maybe there's a bit of that if there's a bit of a division in the dressing room. Maybe Wilson and the likes of Fraser have come in looking at the setup and going, well, how's he playing and Fraser can't get on? How are we doing this? So if they're used to a much different standard, has that created a bit of a fractious piece within the dressing room? Possibly. So yeah, I don't know. Look, at the minute our form is not great. We don't seem to have a real identity or a clue as to what we're doing. I think that stems from the top down. You know, I've tried not to talk about the takeover because I think, you know, we need to try and focus on the football. But even at the minute, that's not good. So, yeah, I don't know. I think just to finish out on the punditry, you know, when I think about Mark Lawrence and Robbie Savage, all I think of is the two dudes that used to do the fast show, you know, jumpers for goalposts. It's 1980s. It's gone. Time has moved on. And I think the likes of your Bruce and some of these pundits, they're from a bygone age where football was different, and it's a different ball game, literally. And you know, these guys will eventually disappear and be off the scene, and I think they just try and cling on. So I pay no attention to it. I don't watch Match of the Day at the moment. I don't watch BBC. You know, I'll turn on when our game's on. Other than that, if it's a good game on Sky, I'll stick it on. Other than that, I don't listen to it, mate.
Great stuff, lads. Happy birthday to two former players today. Mike Williamson, of course, Gateshead's manager these days, but fairly solid centre-half and rocking the yellow strip there, unlike our players did on Friday. And happy birthday to another great club servant, Aaron Hughes. Top player, Aaron. One of those versatile players he could play anywhere, and prolonged his career by quite a bit. Some players were quite happy to hang their boots up. Aaron certainly wasn't, but big happy birthday to both of them. Hope they've had a good day. Get onto me Twitter at Steve Wraith. The final NUFC Matters 3 Amigos t-shirt is up for grabs for the food bank. Current bid on that is £100, and we will be announcing that tomorrow night, the winner of that tomorrow night, which is ladies' night, and of course we start at 7:30 for ladies' night tomorrow night. Looking back on the last 7 days at Newcastle United. Only other thing really to discuss is our campaign, which is Phone a Friend. We relaunched this last week, really just to try and help Newcastle fans through the next lockdown, which of course is a month as we stand. We did get a lot of ex-Newcastle players to come on board and support the campaign, and pleased to say that we managed to knock up a nice little video. So I'll say goodbye to you, lads. Look forward to seeing you all again next Sunday. Have a good week, and we'll play off with Phone a Friend. Take care. Bye, lads.
Bye.
There you go.
Good night.
Mick Quinn here, and with another lockdown looming, you can understand why people are feeling down, a little bit depressed. Newcastle United fans, I'm backing Phone a Friend. So if you feel that way, pick up the phone, ring a mate, ring a family member, tell them how you feel. Get it off your chest and you'll feel a lot better. I'm backing Phone a Friend.
I'm backing Phone a Friend.
Hello everyone, I'm Stephen Caldwell and I'm backing Phone a Friend.
What we've all got to do is stick together, family and friends. So if you're feeling a little bit low, a little bit not positive about the outcome of the day that's coming up, just pick up the phone, call one of your friends or family. Little 5-10 minute chat makes you feel that bit more positive. Share your thoughts with the person you're speaking to, but stay as positive you can. We're going to come out of this and we'll come out of the better. So Lee Clark, Newcastle United, I'm back in Phone a Friend. All the very best.
I'm back. Phone a Friend.
Hi everyone, Rob Lee here. And there we have it, another lockdown looming for all of us. It can be strange times, people can be very isolated, people feel very depressed. That's why I'm backing Phone a Friend.
Liam O'Brien here. I'm backing Phone a Friend.
I'm backing Phone a Friend.
Please remember, these are very, very tough times for us all. And if you're not feeling well, you're not feeling confident, you're not feeling good, just phone a friend.
I'm backing Phone a Friend.
Good morning, this is Warren Barton. I just want to wish you a good day, enjoy your day. I know it's a difficult time for everybody at the moment. If you are feeling isolated, feeling alone, just reach out for someone. You're not on your own, whether it be a work colleague, a family member, next door neighbour, maybe even the guy in the paper shop. Just reach out to them, you're not alone. We know we want to try and support our team and concentrate on something else, but at this difficult time, just reach out for someone. There's someone there to support you, and I wish you all the best. Take care.
I'm backing Phone a Friend.